Well, good morning, practicum students, for the fall semester 2020. What a year it's been. I'll be glad to finish this year out. All right, so this video is kind of a quick introduction, and then I want to show you around the course a little bit, but there's usually a lot of questions with practicum as folks begin the process. So some of you are actually beginning the process this semester, and you're graduating this semester. So you've got to kind of get everything done this semester. And I believe one or two of you elected to spread this out over 2 semesters, and you started with us in the summer and got about half of it done. So of course, those folks are only doing half the credit hours required because they already did half the credit hours. For those of you that are doing the beginning of it right now, you should be in the 3 credit hour course. And I think I looked on Empower and we have a couple of you in that 3 credit hour course. So again, that means everything needs to be completed this semester. All right, so a couple of things to kind of get you guys up to speed on what's been going on. Because there was a lot of communication with the other group, and a lot of it was pushed out through email as well for you folks, but I thought I'd take a few minutes and just catch you up on everything. So bear with me here as I kind of ramble on about what's happened over the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 months. So practicum, there was a change, an email sent again to everybody that was going to be touched by practicum, is that we're suspending all physical practicum for the remainder of the year. And, you know, that may even be next spring semester as well. We'll see about that. But all physical practicum is suspended. So you are not, just to make it absolutely clear, you're not to have physical practicum. What does physical practicum mean? Physical practicum means the 120 hours that you're required to do to complete the course, that you're, the old way was you were physically with a department, a group of people, a person working on projects in a facility with them physically for 120 hours. You are not permitted to do that. The risk for COVID, the myriad of other situations that would take me an hour to explain, just made it far, far too difficult, and the risk benefit was not really there. So we elected to change the practicum experience into what we call field-based research. We had a whole bunch of folks just complete that a few weeks ago, and it went very, very well. So I think we've come up with a pretty good solution for you in substitution for that physical practicum, and I'll talk about that briefly. But there'll be a lot more videos about that in the course, which I'll show you. But I want to make sure that you have the understanding, if you weren't kind of reading the email flow that was going through, again, especially for the new folks, you are not to attend physical practicum in a facility. All right. So what, in addition to that, and I think everybody got the word on this one, but Castle branch requirements, which some of you are working through, vaccinations, background checks, criminal background check, all that stuff, not required. Okay, so there's a little benefit there too, because that's quite a process as well. But since you're not doing physical practicum, those Castle branch requirements are moot at this point. Okay, so what are we doing now? Again, there'll be some lengthy videos in I'll show you in the course about what we're doing. But we are doing what we call field-based research. And that means you're still going to be interacting with someone, or maybe 2 or 3 people, but most likely it'll be one individual. You're going to still interact with an individual of your choice about your field-based research. So you're going to need to identify who that is, what you want to, and kind of what you want to do this week. Hopefully you've been thinking about it all summer. Maybe you've had conversations with that individual to kind of get everything kind of lined up. But so you're going to find someone, and that can be within your facility. We're totally okay with that. And they're going to be defined as your mentor for this field-based research. And with that, you're going to have two paths to choose. And we had a group of students, and we had a few do one path and a few do the other. So again, this will be kind of up to you on what path you want to choose. And again, there'll be videos in great detail about what those two paths are, but I'll give you the quick and dirty on it. So the first path is going to be a white paper that you will, in consultation with your mentor, decide on a problem statement, if you will, an area of exploration, and then you will go forth and write a white paper on that. If you don't know what a white paper is, there's some videos that will be provided to you. There's a ton of stuff on the internet on what a white paper is. It gives you a lot of creative freedom to explore the topic, to get away from APA, and also to make the product your own so you can use it outside of the classroom as well to highlight your skills and problem-solving ability. So there's the white paper route, which the majority of our students took for the last cohort. It's a little bit, I don't want to say easier, it's just requires less interaction with your mentor than the other option, the other path, which is a project. So you can still engage in a project with your mentor. So a project would not require the production of a document. So the white paper is a document, and you'll learn about the page requirement, but ballpark, it's about a 20 to 30 page document. Again, it's much different than APA. It's not as dense. You could have colorful charts, you could have bullet points, you could have call out boxes. So, 30 pages of white paper is maybe, I don't know, 15 pages of what I would consider really dense APA material. So it's a little bit more fluffy, a little bit easier to read for an executive. But you can Google out there and Google white papers and see if you like that. Again, I think our students really enjoyed doing the white paper route, allowed them some creativity and to showcase, kind of their thoughts and perspectives as serving basically in a consultant role with their mentor. Okay, but I digress. Let me go back to project. Okay, so project, you and your mentor talk, and your mentor has this thing, whatever it might be. I'll just pick this one at random. Boy, we really need to improve our patient satisfaction scores here. Okay. And I would like you to help me with that. Okay. Now with that topic, you could suggest, well, I could write a white paper on best practices for improving patient satisfaction scores in an outpatient facility or whatever, And you can say, great, go ahead, go forth and do that. Or you can say, I really want to work on something that I can do here, right now, real boots on the ground stuff. Yes, great. You can go that. Now that would be a project. Now the project requires you to work a lot, because since you're creating a unique product, if you will, for that facility, that department, you have to work much more closely, weekly, with that mentor. And that's great if it can be done. It can be done, remotely, Skype, phone conversations. Absolutely, you can do that. Remember, nothing physical. Can't be physically there together, but you can do it definitely remotely, easily. The problem we found, quite frankly, was that the mentors did not have time. They started off with the best intentions, but with the COVID craziness going on and impacting healthcare and all kinds of crazy ways, it just didn't work for a lot of the students with the best, they started off with the best intentions, but we had people furloughed, we had, mentors disappear. So students had to change and go to the white paper. So again, the white paper really just needs a topic. And once you have the topic, you really need very little interaction from the mentor, as much as you wish, but you could complete the whole thing without any interaction whatsoever. And some of our students actually had that happen because their mentors were either furloughed or moved to different departments or whatever happened. So be very careful if you choose the project route that you really feel realistic that it can be done. That you don't have to do kind of a switch, midway through the course, especially since some of you are doing everything in one semester. You really have no, it'd be very difficult for you if, all of a sudden, 5 weeks from now, you're telling me that you can't get a hold of your mentor anymore, or your mentor has been laid off, or downsized, or furloughed, or what have you. So keep that in mind. We also found too that some projects that mentors wanted to do, everything was put on hiatus. So there's that too. So the white paper really, again, I'd say 80%. We had 3 or 4 students who actually do projects, and then the rest were white papers. So again, it's an option for you. The white paper route, that's more autonomous, more just let's discuss a topic, and if we can get together, we can, when you're talking to your mentor, but you don't need them after that initial conversation and that initial idea. The project, much more in-depth involvement. Now, both are cool. The project, you're producing something, for that facility, unique to that facility, that can help you with career advantages and whatnot. So I didn't want to take that part away from you, but again, remember, it has to be done remotely. All right, so that is kind of it in a nutshell. There's a lot of videos that you'll see. There's a sequence of 3 videos that will walk you through the process. But basically, you've got two paths to choose from, and you got to choose kind of, hopefully, this week, if no later than next week, on what you're doing. Okay, so that is kind of where we're at with all the COVID craziness and where we're at with practicum today. The last thing I wanted to mention too, as I look at my little notes here, I've got pasted by the camera, are the hour requirements. So at one point we were talking log sheets and hours and all of that. Remember, it takes 120 hours to complete the requirements for practicum. So how do you do that if you're not physically in a space and kind of clocking in and out, if you will? Well, we've changed all that for the most part. If you are doing the white paper, what we've come up with is a formula that about 4 hours of field work or work would be equivalent to 1 page. Remember, they're not nearly as dense as APA pages, and we're not requiring APA format. Of course, good grammar and all that, but not APA format. So 4 hours equals 1 page of content. So no log sheets you need to keep. You're going to turn in your white paper. It's going to be an excellent quality, and I'm going to count the pages, and that's pretty much it. Okay. If you're doing the project route, okay, again, you're doing something unique for that facility. There may be no physical product to turn in. In that case, you'll keep a self log, okay, on our system here, a self log of the work that you're doing on that project. So what do you turn in at the end? Well, at the end, if you're doing the white paper, you're clearly turning in a white paper, and you're going to be doing a presentation for the group, okay? And we'll talk more about the presentation, but it's a 10-minute Zoom presentation that you'll do about your white paper experience. If you are doing the project, well, you'll turn in your log sheets. You'll turn in any relevant, this is where the sticky point is, any relevant items that you produced that you're allowed to share. Okay. In some cases, you may be working on very proprietary stuff that you're not allowed to share. But if you can attach any evidence, okay, of what you've been working on to those practicum logs, again, that's going to be self-logged in your case, how much time you spent researching and on the computer and whatnot. That would be appreciated. But in some cases, it might be, proprietary information that you cannot share if you're working on some super secret process. And we had some students do that. They were working on some really cool stuff for their organization. And they really couldn't turn in, the thing because it was owned by the organization. So, but they were able to give enough evidence that, made it clear of what they were doing. So, and then they'll also be required to do a presentation. So there you go. Those are the two routes. You'll learn more about that in the videos to go. All right. So let's jump in and take a look at the course real quickly here, and we'll kind of go through some of the basics. So what I would like you guys to do is just check into the course once a week. I'm usually going to put a video blog in there, just kind of checking in with you guys. So check the course once a week. Other than that, you really need not a lot of stuff going on in the course. Module wise, not your typical course as far as modules goes. So you're going to do the start here, practicum steps 1, 2, and 3. Basically, a lot more detail about the two paths that you need to choose. Okay, and then you're gonna get your two paths: field-based white paper or field-based project. Again, some information in there. And then all I'm going to ask from you, as far as just kind of a check-in, is that you're going to do some progress reports. And I may flex this a little bit, but in the first few weeks of the semester, we're going to do one every 2 weeks. Now, what I found with the other group is that after that, they were doing great, and we didn't need to do any more check-ins. So, but we're going to do at least 3 submissions where you kind of submit, and there's a cover sheet, and you've kind of just, it's nothing too bad to worry about, but just you kind of assemble the stuff that you're working on. It doesn't have to be pretty. It could be handwritten notes. It could be outlines. It could be drafts. It could be all, we had one person working on posters, and, they submitted all that stuff in draft format, just so I can get a vibe that, look, you're making progress. Things look good. Maybe I can offer a third set of eyes on this, or a second set of eyes on this for you. I just would hate to see that you haven't started anything, and, we've already had 6 weeks go by, and then, you're really going to be at a bind. So in the first, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks of the semester, you're going to have these progress reports to submit. After that, I'm assuming we'll be done with that. Another thing that you'll be doing, and we'll do 2 of these this semester, is a progress advising appointment. You'll learn more about that. But right after you submit your first progress report, I'm going to throw a link where you're going to schedule a time to meet with me, and we're going to talk over the phone about how you're doing. Okay, and we're going to do that at least twice over the semester. Again, just to check in, see how you're doing. We found that worked really well with the folks, especially in the first one, and then the second one, or the one that we did towards the end of the semester. We talked about the finishing up everything and their presentation that they would be doing. So it did work out pretty well. So that is pretty much it that you'll have to do, guys. It's not too bad. The hardest part right now is just getting that stuff identified that you need to do, or identifying your mentor and getting that topic down. And then once you get that topic down, or that project, you start working on it. So keep just make sure you go into that section in the course where it says start here, and go through those links. All right, guys, that is pretty much it. If you have any questions, the best way to get a hold of me is through text message. So I'm going to provide my cell phone number down below. Text me or email, but text me if you got something coming up, you got a question, especially short order questions, or you need to talk on the phone, you don't want to wait to our advising conference. Let's talk, because I don't want you guys out there kind of twisting in the wind, especially for those of you that are just starting the semester, and we've got 16 weeks to get everything finished up before you graduate. All right, so there you go. Everybody have a great week, and hope to talk to you soon. Thanks.